I wasn't raised Christian at all. I didn't come from a Christian house. When I was 10 years old, I started having these crazy, kind of like the fear of death. Like I started I started understanding what that meant, but I had so many questions, I couldn't comprehend it, and I'd stay up late at night, and I just asked so many questions, and no one had an answer for me. So my parents, they signed me up for a summer camp, and they're like, because it was at the age where I want to go to summer camp. So my parents signed me up for 1 week at Camp Quanos, which is on the island. As a 10-year-old, there's all these crazy activities. There's zip lining and rock climbing and all this crazy stuff. And obviously that was so much fun, but for some reason I was so drawn towards every night we had a sermon. And that was where I wanted to be. I was always looking forward to that rather than the activities, which it was kind of, I was like, wow, this is so weird. And that was when I first really started to feel God. I didn't even know what the Bible was. I didn't know who Jesus was. I didn't know the stories. I didn't know anything. And so after every sermon, me and my counselor, we'd go up and I would just talk to the pastor for an hour. But then, when that week is over, I went home and, I'm 10 years old and my family's not Christian. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? What do I do? But every year it was the same thing where I'd go and then you go for a week. I'd spend all this amazing time with God. And then I'd go home and it would kind of all disappear. When I was in grade 7, so it was summer going into grade 8, so it was the summer going into high school, they finally had a thing where they could set you up with a church back home. So they set me up with the youth group, and that was my first time ever even going to a church. From COVID to a couple years ago, I just didn't even think about God. I totally just forgot my faith. It was a little on and off before that, but I just completely lost it. I didn't go anymore. I was like, I don't know if this is my thing anymore. I have no idea. And then one day my dad, he asked me, he was like, so do you consider yourself a Christian? And it was pretty out of the blue. And I said, yes. And then after that, I don't know, it was just curious. My dad was like, I think I'm gonna start going to church. And I was like, oh, okay. So then he kind of told me, he's like, yeah, I've been going to church lately. And my dad and I we were going through a pretty hard time. We didn't have a very good relationship. We didn't really talk much at that point. And then I one day texted him and I was like, can I come to church with you? I came with him one Sunday and I was obviously so nervous. I'm like, this is new people. This is a brand new church. I was like, I don't know what kind of church this is. This is a party. This is a fun church. And I'm a person, I have a lot of anxiety. And so for me, meeting new people it's a really big deal. It's super out of my comfort zone. Yeah, so I walked in, I'm like, this is so great. I'm like, everyone's coming and saying hi to me. I've just never experienced this before. And I'm like, this is church. I just knew right away. I'm like, this is what church is. I was in grade 11 at this point, so this is 2 years ago. And then, I kept coming every Sunday. I'd go every Wednesday. And then there was a work retreat with the youth group at Keats. At this point, I think I'd been to youth group maybe once or twice. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go, I'm just gonna go away for a weekend with a group of random people that I've met once or twice. They don't even know who I am. I would never do it. That is something, I don't know where that courage and I know exactly where that courage came from. It came from God. And it was the first time that my faith had really been just consistent. And I'm like, this isn't going away. I'm like, I can't fight this anymore. This isn't something that I can just ignore and walk away from at this point. I am so I'm like, this is my life. This is where I'm supposed to be. Because I can say now that I actually have a relationship with Jesus. That's the big difference. Was before it was, I believe in this. Now I know God and I know what Jesus did for me. He died for me to save me. And now I have that relationship with God, and it's just the difference I can see in myself from 2 years ago versus now. I'm just my anxiety is gone, all this stuff because I'm like, God is just, he saved me and he has brought me here with all these people and just really taken me in, and I'm finally feeling that love for him again, which is so, so good. I want to get baptized because I see it as my public declaration of faith. I want to just be like, yes, like my life is for Jesus. Like, he is in full control. Jesus saved me. He died for me. And I just want to show everyone that, and just to like share it with everyone. And like, I have a lot of friends and family who aren't Christian, and I'm not ashamed to share it with them. I'm like, I want to show everyone. I want to talk about it. And so it's a little way to just show it. And I really want to just show God that I'm like, I am here for you, and like you have full control of my life.